Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown, the unofficial sumo podcast for official sumo fans. This is Mac.
This is Ryan. Nope, I won Chump. This is Ryan first.
For this Basho, I don't know. It does look like I'm in the top right corner, though.
Flair, say your name.
This is Flirt.
And this is the Hatsu 2026. Holy
Whoa,
crap, it's
hey.
2026. When did that happen? Hatsu 2026 recap. And it was a hot Hatsu. As for the second consecutive Basho, we get Awanishiki just continuing to not stop, and he wins his second consecutive playoff, second consecutive yusho. We'll get more into that in just a second, but real quick, we do have a new patron that we need to give a compliment to.
Yeah, Ryan, I'm picturing Ryan waking up in the middle of the night and going, hot Hatsu. I need to write this down.
He was so excited for it. He's like, 2025. No, wait, 26.
Anyways, Aonishiki is setting records for speedily reaching the top of the Bansuke, but Adam Pettit is setting records for speedily reaching the top of our outline document. Thank you for supporting the show.
I thought it was going to be our hearts.
Congratulations. You got in, 49 minutes before we started recording?
The fact that this came in like at the absolute last second, I'm like, yep, let's set a new record. All the speed records are getting broken in the last year.
This is the fastest patron subscription to mention on the podcast in GSB history.
Just like everything Aonishiki and Onosato are doing, it's the fastest X over the Y, whatever, blah blah blah. It's always the fastest. So,
yes, yeah, absolutely.
We're just gonna asymptotically approach patrons like live subscribing while we're recording before we release it and everything. That's just gonna keep getting faster.
And a big thank you to all of our continuing patrons. But Jake has an update on something very exciting for at least us four. It makes us so happy.
I guess I'll take the lead then, even though it was all four of us. Thank you for passing the rock. I do the announcements better and more expeditiously with less ado than anyone else. I can just hear Ryan's heart rate going up. So yesterday we went to Flix Brewhouse here in Des Moines, and our listener Lucas, who promised he'd be listening today. So hello, Lucas.
Lucas.
Good to have you again. Our listener Lucas invited us out there to help them brew a Japanese rice lager. So we got to learn about the beer making process. We got to see behind the scenes of the brew house and all that. That was a great time. Spent all day mixing, mashing, boiling, fermenting, piping, all sorts of stuff. We got our beer in a tank. It'll be ready for the March Basho. Tentatively, the beer is named Ozeki. So yeah, we're very excited to try that out. We don't know if there'll be any sort of event or whatever, but it sounds like that beer will be released the Friday before the March Basho begins. I should have had that date up in front of me. We'll just vamp a little bit more, as that seems to be my thing today.
Friday, March 13th.
March 13th is what I said at the same time, maybe a little bit before Ryan.
Sorry, no, March 6th? Because the Basho starts on the 8th because the first day of March is a Sunday.
It's an early Basho there. So yes, the 6th of March is the anticipated date that the Ozeki Rice Lager will be available at Flix in Des Moines. Reach out to us with details. We'll share more as we learn about it. But our preview will be coming out earlier that week as well. So if there's any updates on that, we'll definitely give it to you then.
No, we had an absolute blast working with Lucas and Jack. Absolute ball. Great hanging out with you guys and brewing this beer. So thank you so much.
Yep. Well, we got a minute set aside on the outline later. We can chat more about that and talk about it. It was an awesome time. Very cool to have people reach out to us and act like we are special. So
because we are, thank you.
Sorry,
about damn time.
Acknowledge that we are special.
Yes, absolutely.
Speaking of being special, Amateur Sumo, very quick update here. SoCal Open, San Diego on Valentine's Day. The Mighty Eagle Team Tournament, San Antonio, the week after that on February 21st. And the big one, Nationals, is March 28th. As always, go to ussumo.org for more details on everything, including signing up for Nationals. We also had one other person reached out to us to give us a heads up on a semi-professional event that's coming up. If you guys have heard of World Championship Sumo, that is a promotion out east that has been A lot of U.S. amateur sumo wrestlers have gotten involved in them, and to be perfectly clear, this is separate from the actual like International Sumo Federation World Championships. This is a promotion, like a company that puts on shows titled World Championship Sumo. Not the same as the World Championships that are happening later in the year for amateur sumo. This is more like a pay-per-view professional type event. It was a little bit hard for me to find the link until I Googled Abima World Championship Sumo. If you do that, you'll find the site to buy the pay-per-view for this Friday night, January 30th. We're going to check it out. We're also going to hopefully get an interview with one of the guys that'll be competing there this week. We're going to hopefully release that. But check it out. This is not something that we've really been involved with in the past. I'm not saying that we're getting involved in it now. I'm just saying this could be cool. Let's see what happens. So again, that is World Championship Sumo. It'll be a pay-per-view event through Abima TV. Reach out for details if you can't find it, but it should be available if you search for Abima World Championship Sumo. Event is on January 30th. And I guess we can get on to Hot Hatsu now.
And what a hot Hatsu it was, Jake.
So hot. He's a piping hot sumo tournament.
White hot Hatsu with, as we mentioned before, our yusho winner, now two-time yusho winner, Awa Nishiki, following up his 12-3 performance in Kyushu with another 12-3 playoff win here, winning in his Ozeki debut. And the person he beat in the playoff this time was not Yokozuna Hoshoryu, but it was Maegashira for Atami Fuji, coming out with his best record that he's ever had in his career, with 12-3 record, ending up with a June Yusho for Atami Fuji, his fourth career June Yusho and second playoff loss for Atami Fuji. We had 3 special prizes handed out this time. There were no Gino Show technique prizes to be handed out. Unfortunately, Awa Nishiki is now Ozeki and ineligible for prizes. Otherwise, he would have collected like his 5th or 7th straight one of those. The Shuken Show Outstanding Performance Prize went to Maegashira 1 Yoshi no Fuji. This is his first career Outstanding Performance Prize, his 4th special prize overall. It was touch and go for him. He was 7-7 on day 15, but he was able to pick up a win over Oshoma on day 15 to get a winning record, and that allowed him to pick up the Outstanding Performance Prize given to him because he knocked off both Yokozuna in back-to-back days on days 3 and 4, picking up 2 Kinboshi. Atami Fuji was also eligible for an Outstanding Performance Award, but he had to win the Yusho, and obviously he lost the playoff, so he did not get that. We had 2 Kanto Show Fighting Spirit Awards handed out. There was a battle between Sekiwake Kirishima and Maegashira 12 Abi on day 15. Both of them were 10-4. The winner of that match would be 11-4 and take home a Fighting Spirit prize. And Kirishima was able to dispatch Abi, picking up his 4th career Fighting Spirit prize, his 8th special prize overall. And Atami Fuji did not go home completely empty-handed. He did get a Fighting Spirit prize, his 3rd career Fighting Spirit prize, and his 3rd special prize overall. So let's talk about Awa Nishiki winning his 2nd consecutive Yusho. So he is the first Ozeki to win the Yusho in his Ozeki debut since Hakuho did it 20 years ago. He's the first Rikishi since Futabayama 89 years ago to win a Yusho in their Sekiwake debut and then followed up with a Yusho in their Ozeki debut. I mean, it's just rare enough that you're going to have a Rikishi promoted to Ozeki after one Basho at Sekiwake, but Awa Nishiki is the Rikishi to set all of those records and do all of those unprecedented things.
Just having your name mentioned in the same sentence as something that Hakuho has done in and of itself is immense. Like, holy crap.
And not to mention Futabayama, who is a Yokozuna that all modern day like top tier Rikishi would look back and say, like, he was the man. Like, he was back in the 30s and 40s. He was the Hakuho of that time. They just fought less.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to point out Futabayama. His name doesn't come up as often because he doesn't have like the pure volume records that guys like Taiho, Chiyono Fuji, Hakuho have because there were fewer Basho. But he was exactly as dominant as those guys.
And I believe it's
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I believe it's Futabayama who still holds the record for 69 consecutive wins as the most consecutive wins in the top division ever.
I believe Hakuho got really close once, but then
Kisei no Sato stopped that.
So before we get too deep in there, I just wanted to follow up and say, if you're comparing yourself to history instead of the other guys that you're wrestling against, that says a lot about where your career's at.
Absolutely. Aonishiki becomes the 4th Rikishi with multiple yusho before turning 22. The other ones being Takanohana, Taiho, and Kita no Umi, all of whom ended their career with 20-plus yusho. And he has the 2nd most wins in a Rikishi's first 6 Basho in the top division, with 68 wins in his first full year in the top division. Only Yokozuna from the past, Teru Kuni, also I believe in like the 30s and 40s time frame, had more. He had 71 in his first 6 Basho in the top division.
And that's first 6 because, they were only doing like 2 a year.
Yeah.
Since I was on Futabayama's page, he went exactly 3 years between losses to get those 69 wins in a row. Old Sumo's nuts.
Yeah. So we are now left with a situation where we have Aonishiki, despite coming off of back-to-back yusho, he is not being promoted to Yokozuna because the criteria for Yokozuna is not just back-to-back yusho, but it's got to be back-to-back yusho or yusho equivalent from the Ozeki rank. So he does have his first one as an Ozeki, and head Shinpan Takadagawa Oyakata, the Shinpan department, of course, in charge of approving promotions to Ozeki and Yokozuna, said that he believes Aonishiki will be competing for Yokozuna promotion in March because of course he is. He's an Ozeki that won the yusho. He's stating the obvious, but it's nice to have that official word out there. I know when Takakeisho won his last yusho, that was an 11-4 playoff over Atami Fuji. Since it was 11-4, they were a little less certain on his chances for Yokozuna. It was kind of like, if he gets the yusho and meets some other parameters, I believe it was shaky. They're not shaky at all for Aonishiki, and why would they be?
Yeah, I think anybody who's ever had a white collar job can attest that, like, sometimes the boss just wants to call a meeting. And this time, the boss just wanted to say, I think he'll be competing for Yokozuna status. Okay, man, whatever. Let me get back to work, please.
Bravo.
How courageous, boss. Thank you.
I do want to talk a little bit about how we got to this place, because it was a pretty chaotic yusho race to get to the point of Aonishiki winning the yusho in a playoff over Atami Fuji. Aonishiki, of course, he was pretty steady throughout, but was he one of the ones at 7-1, or is he 6-2 at day 8 when we did our?
I think he was 6-2.
Yeah, he was 6-2 on day 8 as of the midway, and we were looking at like Kirishima in the lead at that point. And then after that point on day 8, we, of course, saw Hoshoryu and Ono Sato lose on that day as well. Hoshoryu and Ono Sato would continue to lose as it became clear the shoulder for Ono Sato and his upper body strength wasn't there. Hoshoryu was a step slow, and that knee was clearly bothering him. So they were picking up losses, and they were falling out of the yusho race, and that left the door open for not only Aonishiki, of course, who was out front the entire time in the second week of this tournament, but you had Atami Fuji, who was hot and hadn't lost a match. He lost his first 2 matches, and then he just kept on winning and winning and winning until he came up against Aonishiki on day 12, lost his third one, and didn't lose again until he fought, once again, Aonishiki in the playoff. But then you also had guys like Kirishima, who dropped a couple of matches back-to-back on days 10 and 11, but he did enough to kind of stay in the race. You have Abi, Oshoumi, also just kind of double-digit Maegashira, just kind of hanging out on day 15, like 10-4, but if Aonishiki and Atami Fuji both lose, 4 or 5-way playoff, baby.
Technically, technically still in it, mathematically.
Yeah. And then you also somehow had Ono Sato, who had lost days 8 through 10, and at the very least 2 of those matches looking like he should absolutely leave the tournament and not come back. He had absolutely nothing to offer. And then he comes back against the toughest competition, Sekiwake and Ozeki, and he just looks like the normal Ono Sato and looks better than he had the entire rest of the Basho.
He listened to the Midway.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He heard we were disappointed and stepped up his game.
No, he heard Fleric. I like to think that he heard Fleric's voice and was like, "You can win this. You've got this."
He heard our faith, and it's like, "Oh goodness, these the YDC West is
yeah, YDC West
beating me. I need to make sure I do pretty well.
I can't let them down.
Yeah.
They need to brew beer this week. Dang it! I can't put them in a bad mood for beer brewing.
But with that 4-match winning streak, that put Ono Sato at 10-4, and on day 15, he still had a chance to win the yusho. We had, I believe, 6 Rikshi still eligible to win the yusho coming into day 15. It's been a long ass time since I can remember that many Rikshi still having a realistic chance at winning the yusho. Now, of course, Atami Fuji beats Oshoumi about halfway through the top division slate, and that immediately eliminated Kirishima, Abi, Oshoumi, and Ono Sato from Yusho contention. It became just Atami Fuji and Aonishiki, but it was real muddy the entire time. We did not have 2 real clear. I would say Aonishiki was a clear front runner for a little while. After he beat Atami Fuji, he was alone in the lead for a few days. And then rock, paper, scissors happened. We'll get to more of that in a minute. And now Nishiki dropped another
It's real.
It is written. Yeah.
But it was literally, we could have had a 5-way playoff, guys. And I'm wondering, are we more happy with Aonishiki's meteoric rise and being on the verge of Yokozuna, or would we have been more happy with a 5-way playoff?
I know Ryan's answer.
Exactly. I just saw Ryan's his whole body just like, we could have had this.
And Aonishiki still could have won the Yusho. It still could have been Aonishiki winning the Yusho just in a 5-way playoff.
This is like the last weekend of every Basho for Ryan. He just stays up late doing the math on how big of a playoff is still mathematically possible. To answer the actual question, though, I guess I'll go first. I like Aonishiki coming out on top, of course. Really solidifying that there are 3 top guys right now, not just the 2 Yokozuna. And the way that it happened, I kind of like it this way. Because if only 2 guys got to 12 wins, that makes 12 wins look better.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna win a Basho with 12 wins, having to win an extra match in a playoff, I think that also helps legitimize it.
Yeah, no. Realistically, yes, I am much more happy that Aonishiki got to the 12 wins to win the playoff. That way, we don't have a situation where it's like, yeah, he won a Yusho, but it's 11-4 Yusho, and so like, if he does get the Yusho next Basho, like, does it really count, or does he gotta get like special other criteria? I'm happy we don't have to have that conversation. You got 12-3, that's respectable enough.
Yeah.
So what are our overall thoughts on Aonishiki this Basho? Like, I mean, it's the same Aonishiki that we've been seeing his entire career. Is the guy just never stops moving forward. He's going to voraciously attempt to get his right hand on your belt. And if you let him do that, you are done. You are cooked. It is not happening for you. It doesn't matter how big you are, how strong you are, how much you outsize Aonishiki. If he gets that right hand on your belt, you are 99% of the time absolutely cooked, and he is going to force you over the Tawara. And that's what we saw here.
That hand on the belt and the head on the chest. He uses that. We talked for a long time when he was on his way up, and we kept predicting that he would hit a ceiling. We kept talking about how low he always gets. You know, his head is always lower, but I mean, it clearly works. He gets lower than his opponent, puts that head on the chest to raise them up, and then that right hand grip. He's gonna be wilier than you. Like, that's just how it works, you know. And if you get into a wiliness battle, he just wins every time. Well, except against Hoshoryu.
Yeah, I was gonna say, okay, wait a minute there.
He is he is the wiliest out there with one Achilles heel for sure. But
You mean
yeah.
Onosato?
Yeah, Onosato.
Onosato.
What did I say?
You said
Hoshoryu? I'm sorry.
Oshoryu. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, well, I know you
Yeah, you're
meant Onosato though.
You're
Yeah,
trying to say paper beats scissors for a second. And we're like,
Oh yeah, my mistake. I'm sorry. Yeah, the rock paper scissors, like Ryan mentioned, it held true this Basho for sure. That just works. So yeah, I'm sorry, I misspoke. Yeah, he out Wily's Hoshoryu, but yeah, Onosato. What do you think it is about Onosato? Is it just he can't move him?
Onosato. Sorry, go ahead, Flark.
I was just gonna say it looked like he tried something new this time. Like he stepped to the left, like right at the Tachiai, and Onosato was having none of it. So I think he was just trying something different at the Tachiai, and he just got. So, other than that, I don't know about too much more than that, but I think that's what happened this Basho. He tried something new, didn't work out. And unfortunately, you have to wait 2 more months to get another one. Yeah.
Things that I consistently see when Ao Nishiki loses, and particularly to Onosato, who obviously he's 0-4 against, hasn't beaten him, and then against Yoshi no Fuji, who he just picked up his first win against this Basho, they are immediately able get their hands hit Ao Nishiki in the chest and lift him up right at the Tachiai. And then once Ao Nishiki's kind of in a more standing up position, he's going to be as vulnerable as anybody else. It's just difficult getting him up there. And Onosato did a great job, at least this Basho. He got, I don't remember if it's right or left, but he got a hand Nodowa, lift Ao Nishiki up immediately. Then he got his other meat hook, hit him under the armpit, and just tossed him to the side real quick. So once you get Ao Nishiki up in a standing position, he's as vulnerable as anybody else. It's just getting him into that standing position is going to be pretty damn difficult. And I say as vulnerable as anybody else, but then we saw Yoshi no Fuji do that exact thing. Lift him up, get Ao Nishiki in a standing position, and in that match where Ao Nishiki beat Yoshi no Fuji for the first time, hit him with the Kubenagi, the same exact move that he used to defeat Atami Fuji in the playoff, where just kind of desperation, oh no, my feet have hit the Tawara, get you in the headlock, pivot, and throw you down.
I've never seen that work twice, That's such a desperation move.
That's so cool to actually, now that you mentioned that, because watching Hoshoryu's match versus Ao Nishiki, Hoshoryu works so hard to try to get him lift up. Most of the match is him just trying to push him up, and he gets almost there, but like he just can't get all the way, and just right at the end he just starts losing he just lost his balance and got turned into the ground. But that definitely seems to be kind of the modus operandi that people are trying against him. Just like try to get him up, try to get him lifted up. It's tough. Even Hoshoryu can't do it, but it's the way that they're going for it. That's the weakness that all the Rikishi sciences have figured out.
Yeah, for the record, I mentioned that Kubi-Nage, not seeing it done twice, that just doesn't work in general. I know we're straying dangerously close to our blue belt discussion that we'll have a little bit later. Short one today, I promise. But yeah, that Kubi-Nage is that headlock throw. You see it. I don't know how often do you think you see it? For the 2 times
in the top division. I'll look it up real quick while you're talking.
The success rate is super low, but you see it attempted a ton when somebody gets turned around. So like if
but usually the opponent is able to keep themselves and just push you out at that point. It's like, I'm going to go for a throw, but you're off balance in that throw. So if they've got their feet square or still under them before you actually throw them, you're a sitting duck.
Exactly. And it requires such a high center of gravity to start with to get it.
Yeah. So if your opponent, obviously you want to be facing your opponent ideally, right? But if you get turned and they are like pushing on you from the side, that's the position where you reach over the top, you grab their head, you go for the throw, and it just doesn't work very often. It is a last ditch desperation move, and the fact that Ao Nishiki pulled it off twice in one Basho is pretty surprising to me.
So just looking at recent history, 3 to 5 times per year is how often
year
in the top division is how often that's going to be used. And Ao Nishiki has 3 of the last 4 uses.
I think if it was just the 2 in this Basho, that might be coincidence. But if he also has another one, I think now we're starting to talk. There's something going on there.
Yeah.
It's not just a last ditch throw the kitchen sink, I'm already losing anyways kind of move. Maybe he actually knows something, or his leverage is better than his opponents in a way that we haven't quite figured out yet.
Yeah. All right, we will get back to further analysis pending. We will get back to you.
Furthermore, on Aonishiki, we did see on day 12 a new look for Aonishiki as he debuted a black mawashi, and this is a mawashi that was previously worn by his Oyakata, the former Amanishiki. So Ajigawa Oyakata said, I liked Chiyo no Fuji, and when I was still active, I had it made just like Chiyo no Fuji's. The weave is the same. Aonishiki said he wanted a black mawashi. I think he saw Chiyo no Fuji and thought black would look good. And so I guess he gave him his old Amanishiki gave him his old mawashi to give it to Aonishiki, and Aonishiki obviously didn't need it or good luck charm. It didn't affect him in any way, but Aonishiki looks good in black. Black just feels
every bit helps,
right for Ozeki and Yokozuna, really. Because did Onosato move to black, or is he still wearing the blue?
I guess I didn't notice. I thought he was still in blue. Yeah,
well, I'll look it up real quick.
I was just going to bring up when we started watching Sumo, Hakuho and Harumafuji were both wearing black as Yokozuna.
I thought it was a requirement, Ozeki.
That's what I thought.
For years, I thought, oh, they're Yokozuna, so they're the only ones with black mawashis. And I don't know, I guess not, but it certainly has some element of staying power in my mind that, oh, he's in black, he's made it now, he's at the top.
See, now I want to see the Kaio yellow. I want to see the Ura pink worn around the Yokozuna and the Ozeki. Just be like, yeah, that's right. Color doesn't matter, except this is awesome.
Okay. I just looked it up, what everybody was wearing today. Aonishiki is in the black. Kotozakura Ozeki, obviously, he's always had like that mint green.
Right.
Onosato is still kind of wearing that bright blue. I don't know if he was wearing black at one point, but for some reason I thought I remember Onosato in black at some point. And Hoshoryu is wearing like a darker, more navy blue.
Gotcha.
So that was your Yokozuna and Ozeki Mawashi analysis.
The Sumo Stats website has a suggestion box kind of thing going on. We should get Mawashi color tracked on there somewhere.
That's actually very important to me. Yeah.
Go all the way back.
Is a joke to me, but not to Ryan.
I must know.
Sorry, what was that, Flair?
I was going to say that we got to go back all the way to the 1800s. Get the stat.
We got to
changes.
We got to use some complicated technology to turn black and white footage into Mawashi color stats.
Technicolor. We're going back to Technicolor, man.
One more thing on Aonishiki is there was a comment from his Okami-san, and that after he won the yusho, there's a lot of talk like basically Aonishiki wasn't able to like sleep for like the past 5 days, and like his appetite wasn't there. And his Okami-san at his Beya said, I was worried because I saw up close how he struggled with various things, such as not being able to sleep or eat during the latter half of the tournament. And then she went on to say, he studies sumo, watches past matches, and his life and work are completely integrated. I'm amazed that a 21-year-old young man could live such a stoic life. And so I think there's a bit of a hint as to how he has been able to rise so quickly. It's not only he has the skill and the ability, but he's a student of the game. And it sounds like his life is sumo, which I'm sure
he's not just talented, he's boring too.
Yes. Boring.
I'm sure
really?
There's plenty of other Rikishi that are the same way. It's not something unique to Aonishiki, but it certainly doesn't hurt, and he might not be quite rising this fast if he wasn't as big of a student of the game as it seems he is.
Yeah, you hear the same sort of thing about like Shohei Ohtani is like famously like a one-note human. Like he is designed from the ground up to do nothing but baseball. And yeah, if Aonishiki is that same personality with that like hyper fixation of like, this is the only thing I actually care about at all. If I'm not doing it, I'm studying it. That makes a lot of sense.
Right on.
All right, let's talk a little bit more about our injured Yokozuna. As we mentioned, there was a point at day 9, I think it was back-to-back losses for both Onosato and Hoshoryu. I thought we were going to come into day 10 and have double Kyujo for our Yokozuna, especially Onosato, who just had back-to-back matches of being immediately pushed backwards and out without trying any form of offense. But to their credit, both of them did stay in, even when they were both well eliminated. Well, I guess Onosato wasn't eliminated from the yusho race until Tommy Fuji won.
Sure felt
15.
like they were not in the
but
race,
it sure felt like they weren't going to be sniffing it. So day 8 onward, Hoshoryu went 4-4. Never really looking quite as quick as a healthy Hoshoryu normally would. He's still obviously able to pick up some wins. Got a win over Kotozakura and Takayasu, so we got some high level wins in there, but just couldn't stack them in the second week. And there's always something just a little slow, a little bit weaker about Hoshoryu than we're used to, I feel like. And Onosato lost those 3 in a row. Looked like he should have pulled out, but then he looked like normal. I have no idea what happened between days 10 and 11. But Onosato came back as a brand new man.
Did you see his Tachi, how he changed it? He started leading with his right shoulder.
Oh, is it? I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah. I think he realized that his left shoulder, if they did get like a hit on it, like it would just kind of, it would be weak, he'd fall back or feel some pain. So he started kind of just leading with his right shoulder, and like he was able to survive the Tachi that way.
Why was he leading with the left shoulder the whole? I mean, that's probably what he's used to. I'm sure. But when you got an injured shoulder, probably don't make that the first thing that makes contact in the matches.
I don't think he was leading with his left. I think it was more of a neutral kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
But he purposely changed it so it was his right shoulder in the last couple of days.
Was he doing more of like a Takayasu kind of bash?
That's what
Yeah,
no, not quite the bash, but still still leading with the shoulder or right shoulder, excuse me.
So it's a good adjustment. You like a smart Rikishi to change his style, and it got him some wins at the end.
Yep.
So it was fun to see.
After the Basho, I wasn't able to find any quotes from Onosato, but Hoshoryu said, "Can't make any excuses for missing out on the championship. It's important to heal my knee injury. I'll do my best next tournament." So he's acknowledging, the knee. Obviously, the wrapped up knee was an issue. The knee that he got fluid drained from 2 days before the tournament started, shockingly, was an issue for Hoshoryu. But with him saying it's important to heal my knee injury, I don't know if there's a Jungyo between Hatsu and Haru. I don't think so, because I think this is like one of the wedding seasons or something like that.
Yeah, I've heard this is kind of like their actual New Year's because they're busy pounding mochi.
Yeah.
But they do have that one tournament where it's like a bracket one.
Oh,
like
the 1 day single elimination thing?
Exactly, yeah. But I'm sure he can. I'm sure he will probably not compete in that one.
Yeah.
But
he won it last year, didn't he?
I think so.
Yeah. But my understanding is that, I don't think they have Jungyo going on this time.
Yeah. So hopefully Hoshoryu can take it easy the next month, heal up that knee, come back, and be back in losing in playoff form.
Of course. Beating Onosato, losing to Aonishiki, death and taxes.
And thus it keeps going.
I was a little surprised. I thought if now was any time to kind of break the rock, paper, scissors, or if there was any time to break the rock, paper, scissors, now would be the time, with a couple of struggling Yokozuna with their injuries. I think our first matchup was it Aonishiki versus Hoshoryu? Yes,
I believe so.
Hoshoryu versus Aonishiki was our first matchup between the three that we got, and that kind of went as we expected. With Hoshoryu struggling, Aonishiki being out in the lead, it was a good matchup. Aonishiki was able to keep Hoshoryu off the belt until he was able to kind of overwhelm Hoshoryu, and Hoshoryu went down. So there we go. What did we decide? Do we have defined who's rock, who's paper, who's scissors?
I think Onosato rock. I think we're decided on that one, right?
I don't know. I think to me the one that makes the most sense is Hoshoryu being scissors, but that makes Onosato paper. It doesn't work very well.
It doesn't quite. It's
Yeah, we'll do like a fan poll at one point and figure out who's rock, who's paper, who's scissors.
And definitively get an answer from you, the fans.
We'll
the
definitively
listeners.
get an answer.
Here's a stat that I think we should start tracking. If the rock, paper, scissors goes the way it's supposed to, that counts as a win. And if it doesn't go the way it's supposed to, that counts as a loss. Right now, the rock, paper, scissors would be 17-2. So
With
in
Onosato beating Hoshoryu twice, the only exception.
Wow. Okay.
That's the only exception, and one of them happened over a year ago, and then one of them happened in September.
Yeah.
In the playoff. That's right.
In the playoff.
That's right. Hoshoryu won in regulation. Onosato beat him in the playoff on the second try, I think. Right? Was that the Torinoshi one? Yeah.
Yep.
So 17-2. Let's just keep that counter going up as they continue to be predictable.
Yeah. And then on day 14, Aonishiki, 1 win in the lead. If he beats Onosato, then he controls his fate for winning the yusho without needing a playoff. But as we said before, Onosato absolutely eviscerated Aonishiki in a way that only Onosato can do. And then on day 15, as bad as Onosato made Aonishiki look, Hoshoryu absolutely just completely controlled Onosato, got his belt immediately at the Tachiai and forced him out. Onosato had no answers for Hoshoryu. So the rock, paper, scissors is rock, paper, scissoring. And honestly,
none of them.
No.
We need to get these 3 in a playoff. One day it needs to happen.
It will never end.
It couldn't. The only thing that we know is Onosato can break that in playoffs. But does that mean Hoshoryu can beat Aonishiki in a playoff? And Aonishiki can, does it reverse in playoffs? We have to. Well, no, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Hoshoryu. So if Onosato, Hoshoryu loses that playoff, they both can beat Hoshoryu in the playoff. We know.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's just a tennis thing where if you have to win by 2, it can technically go on forever. That 3-way playoff would be
days later.
It needs to happen.
Yeah. Oh man. And then at that point, stamina is going to come into play. Like traditionally the dump stat for sumo wrestlers.
I would say Onosato, I would feel the worst about having the most stamina, but his matches are the shortest. So he could have the least cumulative amount of time. And if you're talking about 9, 10, 20 matches that these guys are having against each other, the shortened amount of time that he has on the dojo is going to start adding up.
Yep, that's right, because Aonishiki, despite being the smallest guy, lugging the least weight around, he definitely takes more time in the matches and definitely has to work harder to get them just from a sheer effort standpoint like that.
Yeah. Like I said, needs to happen. Just needs to. Once in my life. That's at this point, the goal that I have for the next 5 years is to get 1 magical basho with these 3 in a Tomoe-sen. Obviously, ideally, it would be 14-1 with all of their losses only occurring to each other. But
that's not how these 3 guys work generally, though.
Yeah, that's not how these 3 guys work, unfortunately. So I'll take a 13-2. 12-3 would be nice as well.
Fine, we'll settle for a 12-3 if it means these 3 in a playoff. Yeah, I guess.
Any other thoughts on our Yokozuna? Both of them finishing 10-5, but I'm kind of giving them a pass on this one because we knew coming into it both of them weren't at 100%.
I just want them to take their injury seriously. I want them to devote the time to heal, do what you need to do, get back to full strength, come back in Haru, and give us another banger of a basho.
Yeah. Make Aonishiki fight for that Yokozuna promotion.
I mean, I want him to be Yokozuna, but let earn it. I mean, really
earn it in a
Tomoe
Sen at 14-1.
6 hours later, he gets crowned the newest Yokozuna.
Yeah.
They wheel his corpse back out there after all the matches that he did that day.
He's all beaten up like Rocky.
Yeah, instead of a tsuna, instead of the actual rope belt, it's just bandages.
Aonishiki, I did it.
Yeah, it was good to see. I think I'll just also add, the rock, paper, scissors is great, but seeing the adjustments that they're doing, like Hoshoryu, he almost got him lifted up. It was a much longer match where it's just good power battle of just trying to get the center of gravity throughout the whole entire thing. So it was just I'd love to see the adjustments. Aonishiki, he tried something new and it didn't work either. And I love seeing the adjustments. I think it's gonna probably not last forever, but I'm gonna enjoy it while it does.
I mean, we've been talking about it for a little while now, so it's at least 2 or 3 tournaments, which, if anything, that defines a pattern that will last to eternity.
Forever.
Yeah.
Yes. Math.
let's talk about, we do have a couple of injuries, did have a couple of Rikishi Go Kyujo. Much to my surprise, once again, neither one of them were Onosato or Hoshoryu. But we had Nishiki Fuji go Kyujo on day 12. Isegahama Oyakata said that it was a recurrence of old neck and elbow injuries that have hampered Nishiki Fuji in the past. So Nishiki Fuji was looking okay. But he's going to finish up with a 6-9 record, good enough to stay in the top division. So we'll see how he's looking next tournament. And then Hakuno Fuji.
Real quick, 6-9 is always good enough for Nishiki Fuji to stay in the top division, no matter what.
Unfortunately, that is true.
Flaric and Mac, we cover this on Bonski episodes a lot of the time, but there was that one Basho where, Nishiki Fuji was the very last one in the top division, got a 6-9, and they inexplicably just kept him at the same rank. Absolutely.
Why?
Yep.
No idea. And then on day 13, Hakuno Fuji goes Kyujo, the second one from the Isegahama Beya. He injured his toe in his match against Aonishiki on day 11. It was very clear in that match that Hakuno Fuji went down with an injury as he kind of just crumpled underneath Aonishiki in a very awkward way. He went on to fight on day 12, but didn't really look good, and then he pulled out on day 13. So Hakuno Fuji, who was looking good to start the tournament, was looking real strong, stumbles at the end and is going to end up with a 5-10 record. So he's going to be dropping out of the Joy next Basho, unfortunately.
I was more surprised that he stuck with it because there was another match where it looked like his ankle snapped at one point when he had turned around. Even my wife Carolyn jumped out and went, "Oh!" It was gnarly.
Talking before or after his match with Aonishiki?
Before the match. It was early.
Okay.
No, it was not day 13. I want to say it was like day 8 or 9. I'm trying to remember back, but there was one move where his foot just went out from under him and just it looked like he was limping back a little bit.
Yeah. The story for Hakuno Fuji so far in his career is he just cannot stay healthy for an extended period of time, unfortunately. Yeah. So
at least it wasn't his shoulder.
At least it wasn't a shoulder this time. And
I was just gonna say, is it good that it's a new injury? Because it's
I don't want to think about it like that.
Yeah, I know, right? Like on one hand, his shoulders have time to continue healing, but on the other hand, like now he's just got an entire new genre of wound to deal with.
Let's talk a little bit more about our June yusho winner, Atami Fuji, because I feel like we saw a new form of Atami Fuji this Basho. Whether he's able to continue that form into coming Bashos is yet to be seen. But if he can, what we saw to this Basho was a very large man acting like a very large man should.
Yes.
He bigged awesome.
Yeah.
He bigged a lot.
He did big real good. And it probably helps that his Oyakata is the former Terano Fuji, another very large man. And you can see that in the form of Atami Fuji, even if people got inside position on him, just putting those clamps down and using his bigness to move them back anyways. That's kind of what we saw in the final match against Aonishiki. Aonishiki had inside right. Atami Fuji was able to clamp down with one arm, get an underhook in the other, but Aonishiki was just able to squirrel out of that and hit him with the Kubinage. But Atami Fuji, there was 2 or 3 seconds in that final match where I'm like, oh, Atami Fuji's going to win this thing, because he had Aonishiki in position to go out. And so I hope we continue to see this Atami Fuji moving forward, because he did look very dominant in a lot of his matches. He was able to pick up back-to-back Kinboshi over Hoshoryu and Onosato. We know he's always been a thorn in the side for Hoshoryu. But this was his first match that he picked up over Onosato and had to do it in a Tori Naoshi rematch, but was able to, I feel like, very easily handled Onosato in the rematch. But it was very impressive for Atami Fuji. Do you guys have any thoughts on him?
About freaking time.
Yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
Come on.
He showed such promise when he made his debut in the top division. Let me go back real quick. He had 2 consecutive 11-4 June shows. got all the way up to Maegashira 1, and then just absolutely plateaued since then. He had a good July last year, but that was when he was at Maegashira 10, and then he went right back up to Maegashira 3, 5 and 10.
Yep.
So yeah, he's kind of stabilizing in the Joy. I hope that this is like a corner turning and not a flash in the pan kind of situation, but it did seem like he had figured out new ways to use his bulk. And I think that like we mentioned with Aonishiki, he likes to get under people and lift them up and use that to push them backwards. Atami Fuji, obviously it didn't work against Aonishiki himself because he lost to him twice. But Aonishiki just he's fine with that. If you want to get under him, he'll just make you carry him. You know, he was doing a really good job of using his bulk to lean on people and make them, tire them out. And then if you're Kirishima in particular, if you're going to try and carry me, I'm just going to absolutely pancake you. If you give me the opportunity, I'm going to pancake you.
I thought he died.
I know, right? He became one with the flooring for sure. That was Kirishima was like all the way on the tiptoes on the Tawara, like absolute last ditch defense, which is great. Good fighting spirit, man. But not when you got 400 pounds coming right on top of you and a 3-foot drop. That was rough to watch.
In fairness to Kirishima, because that matchup was on day
14.
14, yeah. If Kirishima won that match, now he's sitting at 11-3, and if he wins his day 15 match, he's guaranteed at least a playoff for the yusho. So you got to imagine if Kirishima was out of the yusho race, he makes a business decision and just kind of goes out nice and gently. But still in the yusho race, we saw Wakamoto Haru pull a Nuchari. We saw Oshiumi with a Nuchari. Why not Kirishima lifting the behemoth Atami Fuji and spinning him around for a Nuchari?
Well, I mean, we know why not. Because
it's very clear why you don't do that. But in the moment, it's hard for Kirishima to do that math.
Yeah, and the guy that he would be in a playoff, Kirishima, I mean, the guy that he could potentially get into a playoff with he was one of the only guys to beat Aonishiki in regulation. Mm-hmm. That's a guy that he, let's see real quick. What is their record against each other? 1-3 in favor of Aonishiki. So I guess this was the first time that he beat him. But yeah, the fact that he beat him a couple days ago would definitely be a huge confidence boost if he did end up in a playoff with that same guy.
A little bit more talk about Kirishima here, because he was leading at the halfway point. He was always in the yusho race this entire Basho. He was looking good throughout. He did have those back-to-back losses. I think the one he's probably going to kick himself is the Kotozakura one. He holds a 16-8 record over Kotozakura, but Kotozakura was able to keep Kirishima from getting his preferred grip and was able to get a good grip on Kirishima himself and force him out. But then,
that was one of my favorite matches of the whole Basho, by the way.
Yeah.
I think that one, it appeared that Kotozakura remembered that fighting spirit is part of sumo for the first time in ages. And I haven't seen him put that much effort into a match in a long time. Like he was, I don't know. I really enjoyed that match. We'll talk about it later. Obviously, we talk about our match of the Basho. That one's in consideration, in my opinion. But yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. But I was gonna say, great. Definitely love to see Kirishima do as well as he did, and he put himself at the doorstep of Nozaki promotion. I love to see it. But yeah, it was a joy to kind of just see him just be the Kirishima that we know and love from years past when he was in Ozeki.
Oh yeah, that snuck up on me. He's got 2 11s in a row in the Joy. So yeah, he could another 11 would probably do it.
We'll see. His first 11 was from Maegashira 2, so I'm not convinced that just 3 straight 11-4s with one at Maegashira 2 would get him back to Ozeki. Especially, I know there was a Ozeki who had dropped like in the past. I don't remember who it was. It was early 2000s. They dropped from Ozeki, and then they got like 34/3 and were denied Ozeki promotion.
Oof.
I don't remember exactly where they were at, but so it's always kind of stuck with me. Like maybe it's harder to get back up to Ozeki if you've dropped. Then again, that's 20 years ago, and all the people who are making those decisions are completely different now. So
Yep.
that holds absolutely no salt. But in my head, it's like it's harder to get up there the second time, even though it's happened. What, once the hard way, maybe twice. Teruno Fuji might be the only one who's gotten back up without the 10 win from Sekiwake automatic re-promotion.
I thought Takakeisho did it once.
No, Takakeisho, he didn't do it the hard way twice. He dropped down immediately after being promoted to Ozeki.
It was the in-between. Okay, that's what it was.
Got the 10 wins and went back up.
Tochiazuma was in mind for me, but he dropped and got it back from Sekiwake twice. That's why he was special. Oh well, we'll figure it out later.
Yeah. But all that being said, Kirishima, for the first time since he was in Ozeki, does have back-to-back double-digit winning tournaments, both of them with 11 wins. So he is sitting at 22 over the past 2 Basho. It's yet to be seen if he's considered starting his Ozeki run with this tournament, or if he goes like 13-2, 14-1 next time, they'll obviously fold the last one in and promote him up to Ozeki. I'd be curious to see what 11 wins does for him in March, if that does get him back up to Ozeki. But we finally do have the back-to-back Kirishima double-digit winning records to really give us a lot of hope that maybe he could finally turn this around and get back to Ozeki. So I was very happy to see this performance from Kirishima. Honestly, I would not have been disappointed with Kirishima Yusho win. I'm happier with the Awanishiki, but a Kirishima one would have been cool too. But yeah, hopefully he can keep this going and get back up to Ozeki. I think we're going to need a real Ozeki, because Awanishiki's on the verge of Yokozuna promotion. It just seems like that's going to happen sooner rather than later. And Koto Zakura, let's talk about him real quick.
He's doing Koto Sakura things.
He's just an 8-7 machine. That's all he is. He made it up to Ozeki, and he tried for 5 tournaments, and then he's like, yeah, you know what? Pays almost the same. 8-7. I mean, it absolutely doesn't. I'm sure he's missing out on tons of Kensho, and winning Yushos pays so much. But it's got to be a comfortable lifestyle being an Ozeki. I'm not saying that's why I'm sure it's more injury related than any like try hardness. That was just a joke on my part before.
Yeah, it's definitely not effort related, but it's definitely I don't know, for people that watched him 2 years ago, seeing him just be this frustrating, I don't know, mediocrity machine at this top stage where you have so many other flashy top guys coming up. It's tough.
Go ahead, Fleck.
All right, Ryan, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
The mediocrity machine that Koto Sakura has become
I liked him before, so no.
You what? Okay,
I liked him before, so no. He is not.
Let me
Goedo for me.
I was about to say, like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
We were going to ask the same question, Fleric. I was like,
Hold
wait.
on. Koto Zakura's been Kadoban once. We give him crap. He's only been Kadoban once. That does not a Goedo make.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Goedo being one of the Ozeki back in, like, was it 2017, 18 or so?
Late 2010s.
Late.
Yeah, who has since retired, but he had a long run of just going like 8-7, 9-6. Getting like a couple Makikoshis to go Kadoban as well. And Ryan famously just hated him the entire time, because by the time I guess you got to know him, he was fully just mediocre.
I honestly don't know why my hatred for Goedo rose as strongly as it did. I honestly don't need reasons to hate as strong as I do for many people. So Goedo is just the first one in Sumo that caught that ire from me.
Ryan's an advanced hater. He can hate on a whim. You know, he can just pull that out of nowhere and dedicate his life to it.
Okay. Yeah. This was just a probing kind of hatred question. It's not
the monarch of Sumo, if you will, Ryan.
Okay. I will point out for Koto Zakura, since his 14-1 Yusho, where his only loss was on day 3, and that was in November of 2024, he has not won on day 15 since. He is 0 for 6 with 1 Fusen in that time frame. And on day 14, he only has 2 wins. On day 13, he only has 2 wins. So by the time he is reaching his final 3 matches where he's facing his toughest competition, he is just not any competition for them at this point. Now, whether it's he's gotten his 8 wins and he's like, I've got what I need, I'm too hurt to try hard anymore and don't want to exacerbate this, or it's just he's just outclassed. I mean, at this point, it's been a year plus. He's just outclassed at this point. He's good enough to hold on to the rank, but I have no aspirations of anything more from Kotozakura, and I would be I'm gonna be floored the next time he gets double digits. It'll happen. I'm sure it'll happen again. But I'll be absolutely floored when it happens.
Is that when the hatred will come in? When the double digits happens in Haru?
I'm not gonna hate Kotozakura. The guy is too fluffy and.
What if he denies Aonishiki Yokozuna promotion by beating him?
That could do it. Okay, that could do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But no, I do want to say, like, he looked better this Basho, I thought. Some of his wins looked pretty convincing. And
he
there was
started better.
Yeah, well, yeah. But I think there were enough matches kind of sprinkled in there that looked really kind of legit. So I have a little bit more faith that he might be turning a corner. It's just that he's been left behind by the top of the Bansuke.
I'd agree with that.
He's just really good, and that's it. Not more than that.
But I was impressed with what I saw. I liked what I saw.
I was impressed week 1, and then week 2 let me down a little bit.
Yeah, if you take away the 3 wins to the guys that are all very much obviously better than him, an 8-4 against everybody else, that's okay. That's pretty good. But yeah, if he's going to be remotely in the same discussion as the other 3, he's got to beat at least one of them, and that just not happening.
Want to mention the rest of our Sanyaku real quick. Takayasu 8-7. He really fell off in the second week, going 2-6 from day 9 onwards. That was when he was facing his toughest competition. Did also look like, I think on day 12 in his loss to Abi, looked like he got thrown off the dohyo, and he was getting up real slow in that match too. So hopefully nothing too big for Takayasu, but yeah, he was struggling the second week after starting off 6-2. He finishes up 2-6.
I was worried if he hit a guy that guy would have been done for, because Takayasu came in hard fast.
Yeah, he was looking healthy, but yeah, I wonder if it's an age and wear and tear thing that he just it was his tougher matchups, but also like he lost on day 15 to Chura Naomi. That's one he's got to take. So I'm curious if it's like 2 weeks of getting battered and bruised is just too much for his body anymore. But yeah, week 1 Takayasu was a force of nature. He was breaking people.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of just like hating or liking people on the whim, Chura Naomi. I think one match I heard someone from the audience just yell out his name, and all of a sudden, okay, one person apparently likes this person.
Yeah.
Let's take a look. And you know what? I think I came away from the Basho kind of liking the guy. At least I'm rooting for him a little bit. It's and he took down Takayasu. You gotta love a guy who just keeps that guy down.
I think for me, Chura Naomi, I'm sorry, last point on him, because this is the entire extent of my opinion on Chura Naomi. He has a very distinct kanji in his name that nobody else does at the beginning. So when I'm watching highlights and his name pops up, I can instantly recognize who he is. And that's all that I have for feelings about him, I guess. He's just not super distinct for me yet, but he's obviously doing just fine as like a, mid-Maegashira mainstay. So good for him there.
And he has at least 2 fans, me and some random person in the audience who yelled at his name.
Mm-hmm.
Going down the rest of our Sanyaku, Oho, with his worst tournament in a while, finishing 4-11 for Oho. He hasn't done this poorly since like 2023 at Maegashira 8, but Oho, I don't know what happened with him. Usually he is big and strong enough to like push some weaker competition out, but he had one of the most uncoordinated matches I've ever seen against Shishi on day 12, in which he lost. It was not very impressive pushing, shoving match between either one of them. And that's just kind of what Oho was this whole Basho, just kind of not on Shishi level, but just, I don't,
Rude.
Hey now, you leave my boy alone.
I mean, listen, Mac, you know what it is. You know what
I know exactly what it is. My boy's great.
I've got
He
more
went
Shishi
9
notes
and
for
6.
later. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Oh, you shut up. You leave my boy alone.
But yeah.
He beats Aonishiki and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kirishima.
He beats Aonishiki, Kirishima, Koto Zakura, and Ichi Yamamoto. Was the only other win he was able to come up with. He finishes with 6 straight losses, and I haven't been this happy in a long time. Maybe
Yeah,
since
my
the
notes
birth
for
of my
that day were
child.
Oho embarrasses
Whoa.
Yeah.
by failing to gatekeep Shishi.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry, Shishi got gate kept plenty.
Oh,
but
there
just
were
not
still
this one.
plenty of instances where I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, you can't do that, buddy.
Yeah, because Shishi was one of like what was he, 9-2 at one point? Maybe
Mhm.
Yeah.
9-3.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was-
Yeah.
And Shishi was like one of the people that's like shockingly like, hey, this guy's kind of in
Maybe.
Yusho contention. And then
He
they
faced
bring
Abi. They're like,
Then he
oh, buddy.
lost to Abi, brought him up to fight Oho. He lost to Oho, or he beat Oho, but then Kirishima gate kept him, Yoshino Fuji gate kept him, and then by the end he lost to Daisho.
But that was his first taste of really high-level sumo, consistent high-level sumo.
I bet that's the first time he's faced anyone in the Sanyaku.
Probably.
That's what I mean. It's like, hey, lay off my boy. That was his first taste of like real tough sumo.
No.
Yes.
'cause,
Leave him alone.
but we'll get there.
Alone.
And then Wakamoto Haru, finishing out the Sanyaku ranks. He had an impressive week 2. He started off real bad for Wakamoto Haru, going 0-5, but that's when he was facing Hoshoryu, Kotozakura, Kirishima, Takayasu. He would start ultimately 1-6 because he would lose to Aonishiki in there as well. But from that point on, he would go 7-1, including a victory over Ono Sato on one of the days where Ono Sato just did not belong on a dohyo. But a real impressive week 2 for the Komusubi, to somebody who looked like he was going to get blasted out of the Sanyaku ranks is going to be Komusubi again for the next Basho. So very strong showing by Wakamoto Haru there in week 2. Real quick, want to talk also Yoshino Fuji. We mentioned him getting the double Kinboshi and getting the Shukunsho Outstanding Performance Prize. A little disappointing. He was too up and down. I would have, after the start he had with the double Kinboshi, would have loved to have seen him kind of keep that up. But he did drop some. I mean, looking at the rest of the matches he dropped, he lost to Ozeki, Sekiwake, Komusubi, Sekiwake, and then Maegashira 2, Maegashira 4. So he lost to most everybody ahead of him, except for the Yokozuna, and beat most everybody behind him. So Yoshino Fuji, properly ranked.
Yeah, we were talking about this a little bit yesterday, but Shodai and Endo often filled this role of like wrestling exactly to the level of their opponent. And yeah, Yoshino Fuji has shown flashes of that where he can win or lose to anyone anytime.
Yeah.
And this Basho definitely finished out that way. Beating both Yokozuna, even in their slightly diminished state, absolute huge feather in the cap. And then losing to Maegashira back-to-back towards the end of the tournament to barely scrape out an 8-7. Yep, that's a rough one.
And then the last note that I particularly have is my absolute GOAT, my favorite Rikishi of all time, Hatsuyama, gets destroyed at the bottom of the division, going 2-13 in his Makuuchi debut. I can only hope that he fights and claws his way back up to the top division so I can select him to be my chump one more time.
Yeah. Not
I
the
love
most
that man.
sumo wrestler looking guy either.
No.
He's doesn't have like the look. He doesn't really have the natural athleticism that some of the top guys seem to have. He's I think, I guess what I'm saying here, I'm not trying to diss the guy too much, but like he's punching above his weight class when it comes to results in pro sumo in general. Getting up to the top division is no small feat for a guy that does not seem to be all that great at doing sumo wrestling.
Asanoyama. Little surprising. He finishes with a 9-6, but I feel like that's a disappointing result. He was 9-3 after day 12, and then loses his last 3 matches against Takayasu, Wakamoto Haru, and surprisingly Shodai on day 15. So, can't really be a surprise, too big of a surprise with Asanoyama at this point. He is 31 years old. He's coming off of who knows how many major injuries that he's sustained at this point. But
True.
Obviously the big one being that torn ACL that kept him out for 8 months. But yeah, just not looking like he's fully at strength, and probably not gonna. He could turn it around next Basho, kind of get his feet under him in the top division this time, and work towards getting more strength and everything for the next tournament. But right now it just doesn't seem like we're going to see that super fast rise up to the Sanyaku ranks that he might be hoping for.
Yeah, I think in the mythical sumo wrestler pantheon, COVID compliant Asanoyama is definitely one of the big what ifs for sure. Like Hokuseiho, who learns how to wrestle, is another one. You know, like there are guys that like, there's the one thing that's missing. And if Asanoyama didn't get suspended for a year for breaking COVID protocol, that would have been pretty good. Like he was on a tear. He was absolutely in the conversation for Yokozuna for a little while there. But yeah, obviously the injuries could have happened anyways. But still, prior to that suspension, he had not had any major injuries and was doing very well at Ozeki.
Yeah. All right. Is there anybody else from this Basho you guys want to talk about? Looking at the Bansuke, one guy I want to bring up, Tamawashi. He's starting to look old. I don't know if there's like...
What do you mean starting?
He's been looking not too bad. Like at the end of last year, he had that 11-4 June yusho in July. He's only had winning record or losing records since then.
That's what I mean.
This Basho really kind of started to feel like he doesn't have as much in him at this point. Probably just a whole bunch. I thought, who did he fight on day 15? Ura. I thought Ura killed him today. Sending him flying off the Tawara and
with the gentlest sidestep ever. Tamawashi just went 2 rows deep by himself. That was wild.
Yeah, I thought we saw the retirement of Tamawashi in living color right there. But luckily he did get up, and I assume he will be back next Basho. But it will be more comfortably down the Bansuke and hopefully lighter competition so he can get some more wins and hang around for as long as possible.
Set a few more records maybe. Yeah. I think for Tamawashi, obviously the number one reason that he's still around is he has not had any catastrophic injuries in his 20-year career. But yeah, the other thing that has really helped him, I think, is that he still has that ferocity. He still wants to beat people up. And sometimes that comes up in matches. And when it doesn't, that's a bad sign for him. But sometimes he absolutely would fly off the handle at people and show flashes of his old self. And I love that.
Speaking of ferocity, Fuji no Kawa.
Yes, thank you.
That's a guy that shot out of a cannon every single match, and sometimes it's used against him because there's a couple of matches where he's just going so fast his opponent's able to sidestep him, and Fuji no Kawa's own momentum throws him out of the dojo. But God, he is so fun to watch.
He lost 2 of his 5 matches were Okuridashi losses. Yeah. That's a rear push out. So those are ones where he had too much gas and misdirected enough that his opponent could get behind him.
Yeah, is he still 20 years old or is he 21 now?
20 until February.
Yeah, so he is absolutely one of my favorites that is probably never going to be Ozeki Yokozuna, but goddamn, he's just so fun to watch. And hopefully, hey, he's a little guy, but hopefully he can keep that ferocity and turn it into something, and maybe he does rocket up the ranks. Who knows? But he is just so damn fun to watch.
He reminds me of Hirodoumi when maybe a year, 2 years ago, Hirodoumi, when he first started in the top division, he was like this. He was just that lightning fast powerhouse, 100% effort kind of guy. And that's kind of faded off. And I think that's also his performance, his results have also faded a little bit. And I think Hirodoumi is just, he put on too much weight to be as fast as he used to be. So I'm curious if Fujinokawa will go the same way, but would you guys agree with that? I think Hirodoumi looks bigger and certainly slower than he did a year, 2 years ago.
I mean, just looking at Sumo DB, like his weight.
That's bull. It says his weight is constant for the last like 4 years. Absolutely not. There's no way.
Okay. I would agree with the premise that he's definitely kind of looked a little bit less slow. But I think that's because just having that explosive style is so hard to keep up with.
Yeah.
It's eventually you just get some wear and tear, or like you said, you lose the drive, or you just kind of lose whichever explosiveness that you're able to maintain. It's just so hard to keep it up.
Yeah. The dog inside him is getting older or getting slower.
Yeah, something like that, or just the fast twitch muscles on the tachi, or just the desire to throw yourself at brick walls.
I'm not sure I follow. Can you translate that into amount of dog in him?
Yes. He big right now, big dog, but big dog get old and get smaller maybe.
All right, now I understand.
Anybody else in the top division? All right, let's real quick go through our lower division yusho winners. So down in Juryo, we had Wakanosho, 22 years old. This is their first Juryo yusho, first yusho of any kind, and kind of came out of nowhere. They were in Juryo for a couple of Basho in 2025, dropped down to Makushita, came back last Basho. Only with an 8-7, and then just exploded for a 12-3 this time. So Wakanosho with his first career yusho. In Makushita, we have Nobehata, 23-year-old. He's been in sumo since 2021, but this is his first lower division yusho of any kind. Hane no Fuji is the winner of the Sandanme yusho. This is his second career Sandanme yusho. Looks like Hane no Fuji has been battling injury quite a bit in his career, and so this is him coming back to the Sandanme division for the first time after an injury kept him out of 2 consecutive Basho. Koseiryu wins the Jonidan yusho, 25 years old. This is just their 5th career Basho. This is their first career lower division yusho. And then down in Jonokuchi, we do, of course, have Asahi Fuji, the Rikshi that was promised, the world's strongest recruit, all of that stuff. They were talking about just got to make sure he doesn't hurt his opponents. And, I thought that was a joke, but honestly, kind of looked like that's what he was trying. It's just like, yes, I'm going to win this match. Just please go backwards, not too fast, and don't trip over the Tawara on your way out. It was interesting. He was 7-0 in Jonokuchi alongside his stablemate Aoi Fuji. And so we had an Isegahama stable playoff in Jonokuchi. And even in that match, Asahi Fuji just completely looked like he outclassed him in every way.
Yeah. Got to call out Tensho Yama. That's the other guy that was making his debut this Basho. 6'7", 170 kilos. He's a big honking boy. Another one that we've probably said this before, but I think he and Asahi Fuji will probably see each other several times on their way towards the top division. But yeah, both of those guys are like fully formed Maegashira ready guys. And it was kind of funny because they did face off in the very first match of the entire Basho. Was these two prospects that are like already Maegashira level, but technically they have to wrestle in Jonokuchi first. Tensho Yama lost that match and did not lose anymore. So 6-1, he'll also follow Asahi Fuji, just slightly less of a jump up the Bansuke for him.
All right, Jake, why don't you take us to earning our blue belt?
All right, so as I have mentioned, blue belt, we've kind of stopped having memorization of terminology and stuff, and it's more towards explanation. And understanding. But I didn't prepare anything all that good for today, so here's what we're going to do. I think you guys can get all the way to the 17th most common Kimarite before you'll stumble.
Uh-oh.
I am going to go lightning round. I want you to put your hand up if you know what this is. I don't want you to say, like, Yorikiri is, of course, the most common Kimarite in the top division. I don't want you to just say frontal force out. I want you to, like, 1 or 2 sentences tell me what that actually looks like. When you're watching sumo, how do you identify that that is a Yorikiri move, for example?
Forcing somebody out from the front.
Shit. Wow. Brilliant. Thank you, Chat GP Ryan, for just rephrasing what we already know. So, yeah, number 1 is Yorikiri. You guys know how that one works. Raise your hand, Oshidashi. All right, Flarik does not know Oshidashi. Got it. But yeah, okay, cool. Real quick, what does Oshidashi look like?
Frontal push out, but not like arms fully extended.
Right, not striking, but pushing.
Yeah.
Number 3, Hataki Komi. What's that?
Slap down.
Slap down.
Yep. What part of the body are you slapping down?
The back.
The back. Yep. Tsuki Otoshi. What's that one?
Like
that is a push out.
Suki Otoshi knows like a thrust down.
Yep. This is one where somebody is like pushing too hard and you step to the side and you use your thrust to push them to the ground.
I was thinking Skidashi.
Correct. And that one's coming up later. But yeah, Tsuki Otoshi, that one you'll often see as like a last resort, and your opponent lands on their front when you thrust them down. Number 5, Uwate Nage. Who's got that
overarm
throw.
Yep. You grab their mawashi, your arm is over top their arm, pivot and throw them.
Number 6, Tsukidashi. Mac already said this one. Mac, what is Tsukidashi?
That's the thrust out, push out.
Right. So you're not necessarily pushing. This one is like with striking, like with individual hits, getting your opponent out. Number 7, Okuridashi. We just mentioned this a minute ago. What's that one mean?
Rear push out.
Rear push out. So yeah, you get behind your opponent, you push them out, pushing on their back. Number 8, Yori Taoshi.
Frontal crush out.
Yeah.
Yep.
You force them out and they land on their ass.
Yep. And generally you both
land
go
on
down
top
in a
of
grapple.
And
right after that,
don't necessarily have to be touching their belt for a Yorikiri or Yori Taoshi.
Right. As long as it's more of a grapple than it is a push.
Yeah. That's a callback.
Oshi Taoshi.
That is a frontal push crush. It's another crush out, but it's pushing them completely out and down.
Yeah.
Yep. If a guy uses pushing to get his opponent out of the ring uses pushing to get their opponent onto their back. 10, Hikiotoshi.
Shut up, Mac. Flarik.
Like,
you got Hikiotoshi, Flarik?
I'm just very impressed with you guys. You guys got it. Keep on going. You got
Flarik,
it.
Come on, you got this. Come on, Flarik.
You got
this one.
Sumo Club. He's trying to stay out of the way so you guys also learn stuff.
No. Kimarite names I've realized not something for me. So
That's
I'm
okay.
going to do that to you guys.
All right.
Hikiotoshi is like a pull down, but like slapping their hands, basically.
Yeah. Grabbing their arm, grabbing their hand, and pulling them down that way. Yep. 11th most common, Suinage.
Beltless arm throw.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So where is your arm position?
You got like an underhook, and you throw them.
An underhook, yep, and no belt. Number 12, Kote Nage.
Elbow throw.
Arm throw.
Arm lock throw.
Overhook, grab the arm, throw them.
Yep, and that throwing motion is often forcing them by bending their elbow the wrong way. Is the identifying thing for Kote Nage. Almost there to the inevitable hurdle, Shitate Nage.
Underarm throw.
Underarm throw, yep.
With the belt, yep. Uwate Dashi Nage. What's different about that versus Uwate Nage?
It's a pulling throw.
But it doesn't require the Uwate. I thought that one didn't require. It was an overarm underswing. I thought. Unless, no, that's Katsusukashi. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's an overarm
also
pulling
not that.
throw.
Well,
so it's just kind of instead of like pivoting and throwing them like over like your planted leg, like you're just kind of like pulling them down.
It's the hip throw.
Nope. Mac, get out of Ryan's way here. Ryan's on it.
Yeah.
Uwate Dashi Nage is you have their belt with an overarm grip and you pull them forwards. Usually this means that instead of like using your hip to throw them to the ground, you are pulling them and escorting them out of the ring. Yeah. It can be a throw where you throw them to the ground, but yeah, it's generally defined by instead of like rotating them, you are instead pulling them. So moving like more of a linear motion than a rotational. Katatsukashi, Mac, you used this word, but you weren't quite getting it. Can you describe Katatsukashi real quick?
It's when you, so I always think Midori Fuji. It's the Midori Fuji special in my head. It's when he's got a grip and he pulls them down, but it's not an underhook because he's underneath them, but he throws them over his shoulder. He uses his hip. He plants his hip and he throws them down.
You got underhook with one arm and slap them down with the other arm.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily need both arms, but the idea is you have an underhook and you are pulling them down. So Skui Nage is when you have an underhook and no belt and you throw them. Katatsukashi is when you have an underhook with no belt and you pull them down. So similar setup, but yeah, Katatsukashi, that is obviously Midori Fuji special. I'm sure he got a couple this Basho because he always does. Fusen, the 16th most common winning technique. Fleric, what's a Fusen win?
Ooh, that one. That's when you get a win by default.
Yep. If an opponent has pulled out by injury, they get one official loss on their record, and then everything after that is absences. So like you don't, if you pull out on day 3 or whatever, day 3 still counts as an actual loss, which means the guy who is scheduled to face you gets a free win. That happened 24 times in the last year. And then here, the 17th most common Kimarite. This is where I think we're going to stumble, and maybe where we pick up next Basho. Totari.
It's an arm throw.
It's an arm throw. Can you describe what happens?
Grab their arm and pull them forward.
No, you're falling out of the ring. And at least I thought that's what it was, is you're falling out of the ring and you pull your opponent out first.
You are kind of thinking of the right position, but yeah, this is one where I would have both of my hands on one of your hands or arms or elbow, whatever, and that arm goes across my body, and I use that as leverage to throw you. It's a really hard one to describe. You'll see it a handful of times.
It's like the judo hip throw. It's like the judo hip throw one, right?
Not necessarily.
That's more of an Ippanzeo.
Right, and that one almost happened this Basho, but what was that? Whatever,
You're thinking
matter.
Takeyasu versus Daisho, and that was called a Totari.
There you go. Yep. So that is the 17th most common Kimarite in the last year, and that is where I think we are comfortable stopping.
What's 18?
Number 18, there is no 18 because Totari is tied with Tsuki Taoshi. Is there anybody know?
Oh, frontal crush out. So
no, it'd be frontal push.
Crush out with striking.
With thrust.
Striking, yeah.
Yep.
All right, so what's 19? Let's keep this going, baby.
Okay.
So,
we're going to be here for hours.
I don't care.
Well, actually, you probably do know the next handful. We got Sotogake. We covered that recently. That's an outside trip. Kime Dashi. That's the double overhook force out. Kubi Nage. That's the headlock throw.
Headlock throw.
That's very relevant.
Okuri Taoshi.
Rear crush out.
Yep. You get behind your opponent. You push them out in such a way that they fall over. Shitate Dashi Nage.
It's underarm pulling throw.
Yep, the pulling throw like we were talking about with the Wache Dashi Nage. Uchi Muso.
That's you like hit their knee out and like pull them down. It's like you use your hand to hit their inside of their thigh and pull them down. You
use your hand to stop your opponent from taking a step forward as you pull them forward.
Yeah.
Aonishiki landed a handful of those this last year. Watashi Komi.
That's like a 3-point throw. You have to have like arm around like the outside, isn't it? It's like you have to have the arm on like the outside of the leg. Well, it's a very complicated one.
This one is kind of you might call it a single leg takedown.
Yeah.
This is one where you use your hand to grab the back of their knee and pull them down, and tip them over backwards. And then we're gonna get into some more exotic ones. We're all the way down to 26 now. Kiri Kaeshi, tripping somebody over your knee as they try to throw you. We're down into things that happened less than 10 times in the last year. Oof. So yeah, we are doing really well on our top handful of Kimarite here. Already spent more time on this than we intended, but yeah, we lightning round through the first the most common 15 or so. And yeah, if you see something that's confusing in the match and you need to look it up, you're probably seeing something that happens in single digits per year territory. Yeah. But if you can name those top 15-ish, you can figure out what happened in a match almost all the time. So with that, we're gonna put a bow on our blue belt level stuff, and then I am gonna have to actually. This is as far as I've gotten in my own ranks, so I am gonna have to consult some people who are much smarter than me in the ways of sumo on what we can quiz about for brown belt level questioning.
Cool.
So here is where we also wanted to talk a little bit more about brewing. Anybody want to walk through that a little bit more and just as a again, thank you to Lucas and Jack for walking us through that and having us be guests at Flix Brewhouse. But yeah, anything else we wanted to cover on that?
It all begins with the grain. The grain is grown
Not that
in the
much.
far off.
I cannot,
maybe not
I
that
cannot
beginning.
handle
Oh, okay,
that.
all right.
We're an hour and a half deep. I'm not ready for that.
We can't take Mac off the leash like that.
Yeah, it was just a fun experience. Like I said, like beer is something been drinking for a very long time. It was kind of cool to see a little little peek behind the curtain and how all that comes together. And it was a place that we all of us enjoyed too. So
we got to help grind the grain. We got to help grind the rice. Got to see it go into the masher. Watch it all. It was really cool to see how the beer was actually made and all the steps and processes and just the love, the TLC that goes into brewing a good batch of beer. So my hat's off to both Lucas and Jack for this. Like this, it's a labor of love, and you've got to love the product at the end.
Absolutely blown away by their level of knowledge and obviously clear love of the craft that they do, that they have for it. But just, you could ask anything about the brewing process or the history of brewing or why this, why X, and they knew all the answers to everything. It was just incredibly impressive to see. Like, I'm not a drinker. I don't drink. I don't care about beer all that much, but it was still really fun and entertaining just because of Jack and Lucas, both great guys and their level of knowledge and having answers to everything. And then on a personal note, like, that's why my wife and I love going to movies, and Flix Brewhouse is our favorite place to go see movies. And so it was just really fun for me to get kind of like a behind the scenes look at one of my favorite places to go. And it inspired me. Took my daughter to go see Zootopia too later that night.
that night you actually went back.
Yep.
Yeah, to just double up on that the knowledge they had. I didn't realize how much brewing was just problem solving. Like, we have to get the water into this level of pH. We have to get this level of like number of like just sugar and like going on and stuff like that. That was the part I like to see. And it was really kind of just cool to see them at work.
Yeah, to add on to that, Fleric, I love they had so many different timers going. They were always testing, always measuring, always coming back like, oh, no, we're at this. No, okay, adjust it like this, do it like that. It was phenomenal. I mean, we would be moving all over the brew process, and they just have a timer, like his watch is going off. Whoop, hang on, go back. Whoop, just a minute, got to go do this.
Yep. All these always timers going off, all the measurings, always taking a sip of beer is very important steps along the way.
Yeah, that was funny. It was like, we would do a step, and it's like, all right, well, we got to check on this in an hour. I don't know. Let's go have lunch.
Yep.
But yeah, it was.
Let's go get a beer.
It was so fun to get an invite
throughout the time.
Ryan, after you left, Ryan had to leave early for some other obligations, but it was really cool. Afterwards, they showed us like the beer tanks that are up above the bar that you can see through that window. We walked up there to work on some of the stuff they had to do, and we got to see the movie projectors because that's like the same hallway. I know Ryan's so upset he didn't get back there. But yeah, no, Flix Brewhouse in Des Moines. March, what did we say that date was?
6th.
The 6th, that Friday before the Basho starts, there will be
potentially.
That's the plan as of now. Like I said, our preview will come out that week. We'll update you on stuff there. There are Flix Brewhouses around the country as well. It's not specific to Des Moines. Our understanding is that this beer, hopefully it does really well. Hopefully it comes out good and other places would get interested. But our understanding is that this is just a Des Moines recipe for now. But yeah, there's Indiana, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Texas, Wisconsin. There's tons of other locations of Flix, and even before the beer, they're definitely somebody that we would love to suggest. It's good experience, good food, and apparently also good sumo themed beer. Turns out.
Yeah, hey.
All right. With that, we'll take a quick break, and Jake will lament about the GSB belt, and I will finally get recognized by my two Tsukebito as the Yokozuna that I am.
You still owe them a punishment.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, Ryan.
Yeah.
What's up with owing people
Yeah,
punishments?
Yokozuna Ryan is what you mean.
We'll be back.
You're listening to Grand Sumo Breakdown, the world's #1 sumo podcast, according to 3 out of 4 hosts of Grand Sumo Breakdown. Keep an eye out for our preview, midway, and recap podcasts for every professional sumo tournament and a host of bonus episodes in between. Help support us by joining our Patreon and spreading the word about our show. Every penny we raise is reinvested in improving our podcast. We also help run amateur sumo events and produce the American Sumo newsletter, which you can find on our website, grandsumobreakdown.wordpress.com. Reach out to us on social media if there's anything you'd like to learn about sumo, or if you'd like to try it yourself. All right, do you guys want the mildly annoying one or the infuriating one of the 2 GSB belts first?
Infuriating.
Okay, start with full angry.
Full rage.
No, work up to full anger.
Oh, okay. You want mediocre then rage?
Yeah.
Save the. All right, so we got the co-headliner of mildly annoying, followed by the main event.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so the mildly annoying one is on the midway. We talked about the loser's belt. Ogi no show at Sandanme 79 won the belt by losing, and then kept losing. It was awesome until the final day. Ogi no show beat Asao Bora, and that
They
just
ranked
means
like
that
Sandanme 3 or something.
it's only 20 ranks or so. So instead of the belt ending on an 0-7 Sandanme 79, it's ending on an 0-7 Sandanme 56. So mildly annoying. That's still pretty bad, and Asao Bora is probably going to move down. Bottom of
That looks
Sandanme.
pretty guaranteed demotion down to Joni Don.
Okay, excellent. That's what I like to hear. But still, it's about 20 ranks of a head start that we could have had. So
Yeah.
not the end of the world. Now the winner's belt, the one that we've just decided to. In the past, we've retired a winner's belt when it hits Yokozuna. This time around, we just wanted to see where would it go from here, and it spent most of the time since it reached Onosato, sitting on Onosato. But then last Basho, it got shuffled around a little bit. Ended up on Aonishiki, who won the yusho, so great.
Makes sense.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Makes sense. He started with it, and then he lost to Oho. And this chain of events actually isn't the end of the world, because Oho got beat by Wakamoto Haru, who got beat by Aonishiki.
Hey.
So, yeah, back on on day 7, he earned the belt back and then lost to Kirishima on day 8, and that's where it was on our midway. Kirishima then lost to Kotozakura, which isn't the end of the world. Kotozakura having the belt up at Ozeki, he's going to face the other guys. Ryan knows where this is going.
Is that when he lost to Takanosho?
Takanosho.
God damn it, Kotozakura.
Takanosho at Maegashira 3.
I hate Kotozakura now.
So Takanosho at Maegashira 3 then subsequently lost to Chiyoshoma at Maegashira 11. Who then lost on day 15 to Tobizaru at Maegashira 13. So the winner's belt is on a Maegashira 13 with a losing record. It's going to stay in the top division. I think he got 7 and 8. So he's sticking around in the top division, but that's stupid. That's stupid. We made it. It got all the way up.
Why didn't we retire it?
It made its way through that stupid logjam of the top of Makushita where the last belt got stuck for a million years. and now we're here. So yeah, tough, stupid. I don't like it. It's further motivating me to come up with a new gimmick for the next Basho, though.
Yeah.
Just put this one instead of retiring this one, I'm going to phrase it as put this belt out to pasture.
Out to pasture.
We're going to send this belt to a farm upstate. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the GSB belt. We'll let you know if we come up with a new gimmick for next time.
All right. Mac, Fleric, acknowledge me.
Hi, Ryan.
Hi.
No, you're right. You are very right. You're our Yokozuna Ryan. We obviously did the very dastardly thing and morally wrong thing of picking bad Richie that did not do how we thought they would. So we are but lowly Sukebitos, and you are but very highly Yokozuna, who did not get injured, who succeeded very well and got the yusho in the end.
That's right.
Nice graveling. Yeah, I like that.
Well done. I know.
Yeah,
usually
Ryan won.
Usually it's Sukebito Mac doing this stuff. What's going on?
You did great. Hey, you did great.
Let's clear the floor for Sukebito Mac. He's got to outdo somebody now.
You too. Give,
I got you,
give
guy.
Ryan your honest praise.
I got
right,
you,
Ryan.
man.
No. Don't give me your honest praise. Give me what you think I want to hear.
I was gonna say, wait, hang on. Can I
There's a
actually
big
give the
difference
honest
between
praise?
those two. The big difference between honest and what I want to hear.
Fair enough.
Oh no, I think he got enough what he wants. Go for the honest, Mac. Go for the honest.
Okay.
If you're struggling to read between the lines, Ryan won. Mac and Fleric tied for the loss. With my Aonishiki Yusho, I was really hoping that I was in it till the end, but yeah, Ryan picked Hatsuyama as a chump, and that carried him hard. So that got us
my
here.
goat. What I love about this tournament with this Chump series, we all had 20 plus points.
Yeah,
it was
did good.
crazy. I was like, holy crap! There wasn't a clearly definitive like, no, you chose bad. It was we had great combinations. It's just Ryan's came out ahead. I was like, dang, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm just
Now be
happy
nice to me, Mac.
I am being nice to you.
Be nice to specifically me. That was kind of a group we all did good.
Why indeed, Ryan, you did choose Hoshoryu that went less than the other guys that were above him at Yokozuna rank, but you still managed to pick the GOAT of chumps, the loserest of losers, and that did indeed carry your team, your losing Yokozuna team. You did great.
Did better than your champ, Asanoyama.
That's true.
Boom,
And we
got
already covered him earlier.
Yep.
But still, 20 plus, I'll take it.
Yep. All right. I'll take that. That's not enough graveling, but it's an acceptable amount.
I've graveled plenty in the past.
So I still owe a punishment because I still have the stand-up comedy. Shockingly, that's been really hard for me to come up with, and so that is still a work in progress. And
I'm not shocked. You're not very funny. I'm not your Sukebito. I don't have to be nice to you.
I know.
In
Doesn't
fact,
mean it.
I am actually,
Ouch.
this is my 5th straight mediocre middle of the road, not a win, not a loss performance.
Doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. So that notwithstanding, I promise I will have stand-up comedy before Fleric has his mystery. That I can promise you.
You can probably deliver on that,
likely.
yeah.
Yeah, I can deliver on that. That's all I'm willing to deliver on. As for the punishment for my Tsukebitos, Mac, and Fleric, I initially had a thought of I want to pit these two against each other because there's nothing I love more than competition. And I was kind of thinking in my head, like, oh, like I want them to like compete for my love and compete to impress me. And I was thinking, what does that sound like? Kind of sounds like Taskmaster to me. So I don't have the details worked out, but in some way, shape, or form, I will have some Taskmaster tasks for the two of you to work on, and we will have you two competing to be the GSB best Sukebito, I guess.
Best henchman.
Best henchman.
Best henchman. So we'll have some. I don't know how it's going to work out. I thought of this like 10 minutes before we started recording, but I think it should be fun, and we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
I'm willing.
And
to
most
let you
importantly, requires no prep on your guys' part.
cook. Yeah, very important.
That's the key to having on-time punishments.
That's right.
We're
willing to
too
let you
deep into
cook,
the stand-up
Yokozuna,
now.
Ryan.
What was that, Fleric? It sounded like you were saying nice things about me.
I was gonna say I'm gonna let you cook, Yokozuna, Ryan. I'll let you cook.
Yeah, got plenty of time to figure this out. All right, let's move on to our bold predictions, where there's a lot more bad than there was good
Ugh.
this time around. So our bad predictions from Capitalist Raven predicted a three-way playoff for a 12-3 yusho between Hoshoryu, Yoshino Fuji, and Aonishiki, with Hoshoryu taking it. Also, Hoshoryu beats Aonishiki in regulation, and Oho gets 10+ wins despite losing to Hoshoryu. A lot of Hoshoryu love. We love that in these parts, but unfortunately, Hoshoryu's knee was not up to it this time. The highest Marshall predicted Hoshoryu Yusho, Takayasu to keep Sekiwake and start a new Ozeki run. He will keep Sekiwake. New Ozeki run will have
Not
to
so
wait.
much.
Oho, Kachikoshi, once again, 4-11. Abi continues to disappoint me. Make Koshi, Abi at a 10-5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotta be happy, right?
Yeah. And we have Mosho Gaeru, both Yokozuna Kyujo, Asanoyama Yusho, 12-3 Ura, and Asanoyama Yusho with a 12-3. Ura and Ichi Yamamoto will both get a Kinboshi. Both of those guys did horrendous. Aonishiki 11-4 Jun Yusho, Hakuno Fuji 11-4 Jun Yusho.
Outstanding performance prize.
And outstanding performance prize. And Kotozakura 7 wins and Kadoban for next Basho. So not a lot of that. In fact, none of that happened. Ura almost had the Kinboshi. Oh, I do want to point out, we did get a correction. When we were talking on the midway, we were talking about the Onosato versus Ura match. We were talking as if Ura was awarded the win in the match, and then they did the Tori Naoshi. Onosato was actually declared the winner of the match initially, and then they did the Tori Naoshi. So
Still bad call.
The Mono-E, it's still a bad call, but the Mono-E actually helped Ura instead of hurting him.
Fair enough.
Giving him a second chance when otherwise he would not have. Our good predictions. Chewy Ken predicted that Aonishiki would still get 10+ wins. It's not a whole lot of good, so we're reaching here.
Sorry.
Onosato still shows signs of injury and gives up 2 Kinboshi, so that was pretty good. Lower Makuuchi is a bloodbath, but at least 3 guys below M11 get 10+ wins. Abi, Oshoumi might be the only 2, but we had a couple of them that were really close. 2 of them have Shikona that start with Asa. None of our Asas got up there. All right. And Hakuno Fuji continues to streak.
Fuji
Gets the 4th tournament in a row for a Kinboshi. Aka Kyoryu predicted an Aonishiki Yusho. Onosato and Hoshoryu 12-3. But also Yoshino Fuji 10+. And making it into Sanyaku. So they got the Aonishiki Yusho wrong number, but they were close with some other things. Corey Taranis got Ozek. What did Corey Taranis got? What did you put them in here in the good for? I'm not seeing anything right.
Ozeki / Yokozuna 9+ wins. Like there was a decent combination in there. It's like that was good. Oho gets his first Kachikoshi, like, not quite right.
Not even close. No, not that one.
No, it's like, that's what I mean. No, not quite right. Let's see. No Isekama Makuuchi get Kachikoshi. Only 2 former Ozeki get 9+ wins. It's like, okay, that was pretty close. It was a tough Basho. It's like, but there was some decent in there. Yeah. And then you had Captain Smartass rounding everything out with Shodai finishes between 11 and 14 wins. I mean, not
1 and 14.
But
between 1 and 14 wins.
Excuse me.
Which
1 and 14 wins.
Hey, close. Very close. But Mac, who is our t-shirt winner?
Our t-shirt winner this time around, Yokozuna Ryan, is Nate, who predicted Aonishiki gets Yusho number 2. So congratulations.
Leaving it at that with just the confidence. It's not the boldest one, but it's the most correct one. Because
it was the most correct one we had that was submitted. I'm like, yeah, it wins.
Not the only one who picked Aonishiki to win, but the only one who didn't also pick bad things. So, yeah, tough one. But, yeah, Nate, we will reach out to you. We will get you a GSB t-shirt for your Hatsu Bold prediction. And, submit those predictions on our preview video next time around or in our Discord. Get in touch with us and just let us know that it is your official Bold prediction submission, and we will take it from there.
Or on Blue Sky. We'll put out a thread on Blue Sky for that as well.
We getting much? Nope. Nope. Okay, got it.
Nope. That's
fine. All right. Well, Ryan is looking into something else. Should we?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
We're going to do the GSB Awards. So the first one is the Whoopsie Daisy Award, and that goes to Tomokaze for slipping and falling on the Hanamichi following his day 2 victory. He was interviewed afterwards and said that due to the fact that his right foot is numb, falling is a daily occurrence for him. This one, it just happened to happen when he was going down the Hanamichi following his match. We also have the Arm Collector Award, and this goes to Takayasu for grabbing his opponent's arms on the way to victory on both days 3 and 4. Day 3, he got the Totari win, and what's it called on day 4? It's like a Saka something or another. It's not Saka Totari. Oh, it is Saka Totari, which basically means it's an arm throw block. It's a Totari block.
Somebody does Totari to you and you say no.
Yep.
Twinkle Toes Award goes to Ono Sato for his impressive ability to get a foot in the dohyo while in midair and falling backwards while his opponent is going out. And then we have a couple of other awards here.
Oh, I had the double-edged sword award here. This was my Shishi trash talk that I mentioned earlier.
Oh, you jerk.
So Shishi is too slow to execute a henka on day 15. Double-edged sword, he was too slow to get henka'd on day 11. Abi tried to henka him. Abi actually blew 2 henkas this Basho. It was awesome. But yeah, Shishi was too slow to get henka'd, which allowed him to recover and beat Abi. Thought that was absolutely hilarious.
Still 9-6. Still 9-6.
And then our match of the Basho, we've got a few nominees here. On day 1, we had Oho versus Haku no Fuji, where Haku no Fuji just had a snap throw when he had his back to the Tawara. Day 3, Takayasu versus Daisho, a great pushing, shoving match between the two of them that ends with the Totari that we mentioned before. Fujinokawa versus Onokatsu. You've got the ferocity of Fujinokawa and just a back and forth battle that ends with, looks like Fujinokawa's going out, but then he just grabs Onokatsu, plants himself, spins Onokatsu back and out. Day 10, one of Jake's favorite matches from the Basho, Koto Sakura versus Kirishima. Battle of arm position between the two that eventually Koto Sakura wins and forces Kirishima back and out. We also have Jake has paired day 12 and 16. He's putting both Awanishiki and Atami Fuji matches as a pair and counting them both as one match. So the Awanishiki versus Atami Fuji matches. And then also on day 13, Awanishiki versus Hoshoryu, with Awanishiki keeping Hoshoryu off the belt and keeping Hoshoryu from getting a win over Awanishiki. And I think first in Grand Sumo Breakdown history, all of us have a different match of the Basho. Yeah, I would say that's pretty fair for this one. There wasn't like one match that kind of stood out and above the rest. So how this is going to work for the year-end award show, anybody want to switch their vote, seeing who everybody else has?
This is when the vetoes are going to come in.
Yeah, the only one I want to switch
the veto system.
Yeah, the only one I'd be willing to switch my vote to was one that nobody else voted for, so it would still result in a 4-way tie.
Still ends up with a tie.
So yeah, the ones that we have, Ryan picked Takayasu Daisho, Mac picked Fujinokawa Onokatsu, Fleric picked Aonishiki Hoshoryu. I picked Aonishiki versus Atami Fuji, and
Squared.
That's for the storyline. But yeah, if I were to switch, I'd go Koto Sakura versus Kirishima. So that doesn't help us. Yeah, no, I like Ryan said, this Basho didn't have any like completely standout, wild moments in the ring that we're going to remember forever kind of deals. If anything, I'm going to remember like the weird refereeing decisions in Ura versus Onosato.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, there wasn't like one standout match that was crazy better. So for me, I in that case, in that kind of a scenario, I go with the one that has the most impact. And that would be the fact that Aonishiki prevailed in a playoff. Thought that was super cool. The match itself was pretty exciting, but the context really pushed it over the edge for me.
And see, for me, I love a good hard match with these. So Fujinokawa, I know we talked about him earlier, just full throttle, straight out the gate. So his matches with Onokatsu, I was like, yeah, nope, I like this.
Yeah, for me, the Takayasu versus Daisho, despite shitting on Takayasu the entirety of the time we've had a podcast, I really do enjoy his style of fighting.
He's awesome. Yeah.
He's a great pusher thruster, and so him versus Daisho was just great back and forth. We got some Takayasu fire. He was giving some haymakers to Daisho across the face, and then just the ending with the sudden Totari arm throw victory for Takayasu. Really enjoyed that match.
Yeah. And for the day 13, our Nishiki versus Shoryu, I already talked about it a little bit, but it's rock, paper, scissors is what's kind of really grabbing my attention now in sumo, and just seeing the incremental progress from Hoshoryu. I think he's slowly trying to figure out this person that is Ao Nishiki. So I love to see the progress, and I think he got so much closer. But hopefully next time. Hopefully next time.
All right. So, what was everybody's favorite moment of the Basho? I'm not going to start because I need time to think about that. So, Mac, I hope you have yours front and center.
Yes, actually, and it's just Ura doing Ura things. We knew he would just struggle up at the top here, but the one that stands out to me the most, I think, is day 12, where he was going out of the ring, but he still managed to hop and just keep the top of his foot just in a little bit longer. One foot down, the other foot out, his arms straight up, and like, oh, like, I'm in, I'm still in. So for me, it's just that encapsulated that whole thing, just that sheer joy of like, oh, I'm still doing the sumo. So that, yes, that right there, just that spirit of sumo. I like it.
Rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors. Rock.
Honestly, yeah, I love it. You love it when
I
the
didn't want to be
narrative
boring
continues.
with that.
Yeah. For me, I'll pick the playoff. I think it'll be historically very memorable, whether it's just Aonishiki's continued rise or even a Tommy Fuji. If this is him turning a corner, this is the Basho where it happened or where it started. And yeah, having these two guys face off twice and learn from each other and change up how they approach the match and still just have a closer match than you would have guessed if you hadn't seen the first 14 days, you know? So yeah, I love a playoff in general. And yeah, I think this one will be historically important.
Yeah. I'm going to go with the playoff as well. Just love Awanishiki and love seeing history get made before our eyes every single Basho with him. So him just continuing that. And like at this point, I have no doubt in my mind he's gonna go 13-2, win the yusho in March. And to doubt him at this point would be the dumb thing to do. You have no evidence. He has never had, since he's been in the top division, he's never had fewer losses or more losses
than 4.
Yeah, than 4, or like he's never gone down in the number of wins in the next Basho. Like, yeah, he's had 11 wins and now he's up to 12 wins. So I can only assume he's never going to go below 12 anymore. He can only go up.
There's no more ceiling. It's just he can't beat Onosato. But like that's the only thing that
once he does
though.
Yeah. If whoever breaks serve in that rock paper scissors, whoever gets the first out of line one, they're the favorite one to win for sure. But he's exactly on the same level as those other two guys, the two that are already Yokozuna. Yeah. He'll probably be there pretty soon, I think.
And then also just as a Hoshoryu fan, seeing him get that win over Onosato and get up to 10 wins, even in a Basho that he was struggling with his health. It was nice to see both Onosato and Hoshoryu get to 10 wins. And I feel like it's we haven't seen this kind of Basho in a long time from a Yokozuna, where Yokozuna's out of contention, but they're still competing every day. It's been a long time since we've really seen that happen. So that was an interesting wrinkle. And it was nice to still have that Yokozuna versus Yokozuna matchup on the final day, even if it was just for pride and not for the yusho or Jun yusho or anything like that.
Totally. Yeah, that didn't even occur to me, that Yokozuna versus Yokozuna match, nothing on the line. They're just, which of us is going to win this match against each other? That's a very... We talked about how these two guys, it was the first Yokozuna versus Yokozuna match in a million years, and the first Yokozuna versus Yokozuna match that also was just because they are the top guys and because they have to do it. I'm sure it's even longer than that.
Oh, And before I forget, we did have our patron Champ Chump series as well.
Oh, we gotta rip on Trent for being historically terrible at this.
Yes, we absolutely do. So our winner was friend of the show.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They had a team of Aonishiki and Hatsuyama, best possible champ pick, best possible chump pick. So congratulations to friend of the show. And the loser was personal friend of ours, Winging It Man.
All of our patrons are personal friends.
That's true.
That's true.
I apologize to every other patron who I made it seem like
Yokozuna Ryan is correcting his mistake. It's okay.
But in particular this time, Winging It Man, who selected Hoshoryu for the champ. Not bad. 15 points out of Hoshoryu. That's perfectly respectable and acceptable. Atami Fuji for his chump. And when you select a chump, you have to hope to God they don't do good, because chumps that get Kinboshi, it's -3 per Kinboshi. Special prize, it's -3 per special prize. Jun Yusho, that's -3 for a Jun Yusho. And when you only stack up 3 losses, you get -9 points out of your chump, leaving you with a total of 6 points for the entire competition, which leaves you in last behind the guy who selected Hatsuyama to be his champ.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Oh my God.
So Winging It Man has left us with a loser statement, which reads, "This failing should not be looked at and attributed to a cruel twist of fate, but rather a direct reflection on my intelligence regarding the sport of professional sumo. My beliefs and opinions belong in a special basement under the basement, a dungeon of intellectual shame." On that
No
note,
argument here.
back, take us home.
Why, thank you, Yokozuna Ryan. I will. Thank you for listening to Grand Sumo Breakdown. Until next time, throw your salt high and keep moving forward.